Hey guys, it's Ellen. Thanks for being here. So today I was planning on doing a yoga video, so we're doing one. But I just woke up in a terrible mood and just am having one of those days where I didn't want to get out of bed and where everything just doesn't feel good. So we all have those days no matter how much yoga we do, right? So I figured today we would just do yoga for when you're having kind of a bad mood day or when things are just not all right in your universe, whether you have a reason or not. All right, let's do it. All right, first of all, go you. You're doing your yoga right now. Awesome job. So let's get started either in a comfortable seat or lying on your back if being in a comfortable seat is not an option, like it's not comfortable, because we're gonna be doing some nice deep breathing and you want to just make it nice, right? So get comfy if you're lying on your back. Relax the shoulders down either way. Close your eyes down, take a super big inhale. All the way up to the top. Pause at the top, feeling totally full, and then exhale out through your mouth. All the way out until you feel your belly pulling up and in a little bit. We're gonna do about 5 more of those. Big breath in. See if you can breathe into your belly. Maybe you can. All the way up. Hold it at the top for a second. And then exhale out through the mouth. Every last little bit. Again. So you can sigh it out, you can huff it out, you can force it out, or you can just let your breath fall out. All right, again. Keep going. Take 2 or 3 on your own count. Just exhaling out anything you don't need. Just let it all go. Last one. Awesome. All right, I'll reset. So come on up to a seat if you're lying on your back, and then bring your feet together. Knees fall out. Supta Baddha Konasana. If you're tight in the hips like me, you can bring your feet forward a little bit. Otherwise, you can bring them all the way in. You can lift on up through the chest. Grab onto your feet. So put your thumbs in between your feet. And then as you're sitting up tall, focusing on your breathing, breathing in and out through your nose, just go ahead and rub the middle of your feet. There's this nice thick band of fascia, like right along the middle. Fascia is connective tissue. And so you just give yourself a little bit of a foot massage on those little spots. There's all these little energy centers in your feet. Just helps to bring the energy down out of your head. Feels kind of good. Nice, deep, easy breathing. So you can work on sitting up tall so your heart is open. And even though your arms are forward a little bit, that action of bringing your shoulders back is still there. The crown of your head is reaching up, and on your exhales, feeling your sit bones sitting down into the ground. A couple more. Alrighty. You fold forward just to get a little bit more of a stretch through the hips if that feels good. For another nice breath in, and then a nice breath out. And then bring yourself on up, hands and knees. Spread those fingers out, knees underneath your hips. Kind of settling into your hands, so not pressing into your wrists. You want to press into your knuckles. Get nice and strong, so your arms are engaged a little bit. Settling down there. And then big inhale, drop your belly down, cow pose. Shoulders squeeze together, look forward. Exhale, belly pulls in, face muscles relax, spine rounds, rib cage lifts, getting a little stretch through those muscles in your back and forth. Super good for your spine. It'll keep you young and flexible. This massages all your inner organs. It keeps you healthy and alive. And if you like that inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth, you can do that through the whole sequence. It's just a nice way to just release anything that's no longer needed in your body. Just kind of clear you out. All right. Find yourself in tabletop, belly pulls in, shoulders come back, hands come out in front of you just a little bit. Rock forward, keeping your shoulders back, curl your toes under, and then hips sink up and back. Downward facing dog, pedal your feet out a little bit. So again, you're still pressing into your hands, reaching up with your sit bones. Your arms are nice and engaged, but your face is relaxed and your heart is dropping down. So there's still some surrender. Downward dog is ideally a resting pose once you've been practicing yoga and your shoulders open up enough. So it should feel kind of good. You shake your head out a little bit, shaking it yes, no, little circles. Feel free to wiggle your way through it as much as you want through the entire sequence here. And then inhale, look forward between your hands. Exhale, just walk your feet up. So you're coming into a forward fold. Bend your knees a lot so your chest is pretty much dropped down onto your thighs, but it's not weighted down there. It just happens to be there. And then walk your hands underneath your feet. If this really doesn't feel good, you can just grab onto your toes. You can take your first and second finger and just wrap onto your big toe. But bend your knees as much as you need to. So hands underneath your feet. Right up so your toes are right up against your wrists and your fingers are all pointed back towards your heels. And then you can sink into it a little bit. Again, relax your head and then just wiggle your toes a little bit, giving your wrists a little bit of a massage there. Back and forth. Couple nice deep breaths here. And then on an inhale, stretch your crown of your head and your heart forward and your hips sink back a little bit so there's some tension in your arms. It's like a halfway lift, but you're not really going anywhere. So inhale there, and then exhale, drop down, elbows come out to the sides. Back and forth like that. Keep your belly strong on your inhales and your hips sit back. Inhale, stretch forward a little bit. Exhale, relax it down. Last one. Inhale, heart and head come forward. Nice stretch through the wrists and the arms and the legs. Exhale, relax it down. Nice. Step off of your feet. And then you can roll nice and slow on an inhale all the way up to stand. Head and shoulders roll up and back. Last. Take a second to adjust to being in a standing pose. Let your blood pressure figure itself out. And then feet hip-width distance apart, toes pointed straight ahead. Squeeze your thighs up just a little bit. Tailbone sinks down towards the floor so your hips are nice and level. Roll those shoulders back. And then take your arms out to the sides. I like to curl my fingers under just a little bit, but you keep your thumbs pointed straight forward. And just take some nice big circles. So keep your legs nice and strong. Keep everything else nice and strong. This realigns your shoulders. This actually helps to realign your hips, funnily enough, if you keep your legs strong. It just shakes all that stuff off that we don't need. A couple more. It's okay if this is a little bit hard, by the way. You're using all these little muscles in your rotator cuff. It looks easier than it actually is for some of us. And that's awesome. Building some heat, toning your heart chakra energy, which helps to heal you inside and out. All right, and then relax your arms just for a second. Another big breath in through the nose. Let it out through the mouth. And then another round of arm circles, but this time turn your palms up. You can curl your hands in a little bit, thumbs point back behind you, and then circle backward. So with these ones especially, the circle backward is usually harder for most of us because we're tight through the chest, but it's super good for your posture, which helps you stand up straight. And there's all sorts of research that says if you stand up straight, then you feel better. So maybe we'll try it. And you want to make sure that your shoulder is in the center of your circle. So from the side, I see a lot of this with my clients because I give this one to my clients for alignment issues. You want to bring your circle all the way back. So it's like a wheel and your shoulder is in the middle. Couple more. If you're starting to get tired, take a break. And relax it all down. Just kind of shake your arms out a little bit. And then find mountain pose. You can either have your hands by your sides or at heart center. That kind of feels nice. Check in with your legs. Take a big breath in. And let it out through the mouth. All right. Step your feet out. A little wider than shoulder width. Turn your toes out, heels in. Hands come to heart center, and then just sink your hips straight down. So your knees might want to kind of fall in. Use your outside of your hip muscles to pull them back. So your weight is mostly down through your pinky toe sides of your feet. Your hips are open. Sinking down into it. Goddess pose. Just rock side to side just a second. Warming up the ankles. Keep those shoulders back. Belly is strong. So your tailbone is pointed straight down towards the floor. You're pulling up a little bit through your pelvic floor and your lower belly. Sit down into it. If you're not feeling the leg strength, you can do the same exact move with your legs straight in mountain pose. Take your hands up by your temples. Thumbs point down. Shoulders relax down back behind you a little bit. Big inhale, stretch those elbows back behind you to open up your chest. Exhale, bring your elbows in front of your face. Maybe they touch in front of your nose, maybe they don't. Inhale out. Exhale, forward. Sinking a little lower, inhale out. Exhale, forward. Inhale out. Exhale, forward. Last one, inhale out. And exhale. Inhale, sweep your arms down and then straighten your legs, lift all the way up. Maybe a little bit of a back bend if it feels good. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more little arm exercise in Goddess pose to sink back into it now that we've had our little break, if you want. Always optional. Take care of yourself. Make this like a happy, feel good sequence for you. Don't do anything that doesn't feel good. That's not why we're here today. All right, inhale those arms up. Exhale, cactus arms, heart open, shoulders back, elbows in line with your shoulders. Inhale, stretch it up. Maybe sink a little lower as you do so if it feels good. Exhale. Another option is inhale, straighten the legs. Exhale, cactus arms, sink into your hips, bend your knees. So choose what feels good. I like having a little bit of energy building in my legs when I'm doing yoga. It helps to ground my hypermanic, overheady self. Inhale, stretch. Exhale down. All right, and then inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. You can tiptoe those feet back together. Cool, the hard part's over. Come all the way back down onto the ground, onto your mat. Knees together, feet together. You can bring one toe up on top of the other toe. So sit back onto your heels and then walk your hands forward, keeping your heart and head long until your hands are as far out as they can go. Your elbows are not touching the ground. And then bring your hands together like a little prayer and then sink your head down. So you can keep stretching through the arms so your elbows don't fall on the ground, keeping a little bit of tension there between your fingertips and the bottom of your spine, your sacrum, which is sinking down, so it's a nice big stretch. Or you can just surrender down into child's pose, to a narrow knee child's pose. Option number 3 is to dig your elbows down into the ground. Palms stay together, but you bend your elbows so your hands come up above your head with your thumbs pointed down by your neck. Nice deep breaths, tuning back into your breath. Knowing that you've already accomplished a lot of really awesome things for your health, for yourself. Maybe being a little grateful for that. And relax those hands down if they're bent or if your arms are straight. And then walk yourself on up. So for this next one, free choice pose. So whatever your favorite yoga pose is, Do that one. If you're like, oh, I don't know any yoga poses at all, then you can do what I'm going to do, which is happy baby, which today is my favorite pose. So bend your knees if you want to do that one. Grab onto the outside or the inside edges of your feet. I like grabbing onto the outside. And then sink those knees down. You can stretch those legs out. Maybe wiggle around. And you're breathing, you're paying attention to your breath, you're making sure that your heart, no matter what pose you're in, is not constricted, it's nice and open, so there's space between your shoulders. Breathing down into your belly if you can. If that's hard, really overemphasize the exhales, pulling your belly up and in. It makes it easier to find your diaphragm and pull that muscle down, which creates that belly breath there. If you're in a two-sided pose, you can go ahead and switch. Or if you're sick of the pose you're in and want to do another one, that's fine too. All right. And when you're ready, find yourself on your back, knees bent down, arms come out to the side. You can take your left leg down, take your right leg up towards the sky. You can stretch it out, or you can keep that knee bent. Don't work too hard. Big inhale, stretching out through all of your extremities. Exhale, take a twist. That leg can stay straight or it can bend, doesn't matter. Your shoulder can come off the ground, or you can try and glue it down. Your happiest, best twist. On your inhales, breathing long between the crown of your head and your tailbone. Enjoying the fact that you've done your yoga. You're pretty much done. You've massaged all of your inner organs. You've moved your spine in all the ways that it likes to move. You've brought energy into your feet and into your hands. Taking a lot of deep cleansing, detoxing breaths. Wait for an inhale to come on out of it on this side. Stretch that right leg down and out. Take that left leg to the sky. Nice inhale, stretch out through everything, getting nice and big. And exhale, take your twist. Breathing nice and deep. So for me, when I'm in a really bad mood, which actually happens more than I'd like to admit because I'm kind of a feelings-oriented, moody person. But the two things that I think are generally the culprits, maybe this helps you, maybe it doesn't, are first I want to look at how my self-relationship is doing, because if I'm beating up on myself, which is an old habit that I like to do, that will put me into a really bad mood. I'm my biggest enemy in that regard. So if that's you, maybe watch that, realize that doesn't need to be there. It's not the be all and end all. You can let that go and maybe love yourself a little bit more. You're doing your yoga, which is part of it. Good. Come on out of your twist. Hug your knees in. And that starts with just catching yourself doing it. Just being like, oh, wow, that was kind of a bitchy thing to say to myself. And then maybe you could let that go and not listen. Go ahead and bring your knees together, or your feet together, knees out wide. One hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. So that's the first thing. The second thing that will guaranteed throw off my mood is if I'm doing what I call my anxious avoid thing. So if there's something that I don't really want to deal with, like a phone call I have to make, or like when your bank account, like, you know, it's like not getting super, it's like towards the bottom, and so you just don't check it or whatever. So if my anxious avoid pile has been building up and I've been avoiding it, that'll also throw my emotions into a really bad place. So the best thing to do is just do one thing. Just do either the thing or just one little thing that'll take that pile of all the stuff you don't want to deal with and make it just a little bit smaller. And that sense of accomplishment also really helps. And sometimes you just have to write it out and realize it's just a feeling, which I worked on in therapy for a really long time. Anyway, enough about me. Go ahead and bring your knees together. If you have a wall close by, it's maybe nice to take legs up the wall pose. If you have a couch, you can do this on the couch. So if you have a couch, just pretend the couch is right here and your legs are just up like this. This is amazing for you. If you have a wall, you can come all the way up sideways towards the wall and then swing your legs on up. Legs come out. And if this isn't, if you don't have a wall or a couch, you can just lie on the ground for your final Shavasana, final resting pose. So before you totally let go and let all your muscles relax and release yourself from your practice, think of one thing that you're grateful for and then one thing that you really love about yourself. And once you've thought of those two things, then you can release conscious control of your breath. You can release all activity in your muscles. You can just sink heavy into the floor, into that sense of stillness and maybe even a little bit of peace there. Good job.